So, this word originally comes from ancient Greek. The meaning of it was lack of God, Ateus, that at first was used as a pejorative for those that are immoral and lack respect for the gods. Later on, it became a name for people that cut off their relations with the gods. They actually reject any relations with the gods, and only at the end of the 18th century it took on the form that we know. Till then, it was a kind of a derogatory name. At the end of the 18th century, it described the phenomenon of people that don't believe in one God. And in the 20th century, it became a general name for people that do not believe in divine providence. So, there are the atheists that don't believe in divine providence, and all the rest that do. A few numbers from the International Gallup Research Institute. It shows that the population of the world is becoming less religious and more atheistic. 60%, 59% are religious, 23% are not religious, 13% that consider themselves to be atheists. The leading countries in atheism are China, Japan, the Czech Republic, and France. So we see that there's a certain trend here, meaning that if long ago humanity was drawn more toward believing in one divine force, over time this tendency is changing, and more people are becoming atheists. Still, it's not the majority of the population of the world, but this is the direction. How do you explain this trend or tendency? What used to draw people to the upper force in the past, and what draws more and more people nowadays to disbelief in some kind of a divine force? There are several reasons for it. I wouldn't say that atheism is the lack of faith. It's also believing in something. Even believing that there is no upper force is a kind of faith, because no one can say clearly, scientifically, whether there is or isn't a divine force. And therefore there's no point in relating to it, because unless it was researched scientifically, then the only thing that could be about it is a social consensus. Exists or doesn't exist, or a group of people. And there are different groups that agree to believe in their inclinations according to their character, according to previous beliefs that pass on from one generation to the next. But you can't talk about it scientifically, because no one can say, is there or isn't there? Is there or isn't there divine providence? Yeah. I have to bring proof, clear proof, that we discover some kind of providence or God or multiple gods. The fact that I don't reveal this phenomenon doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, because there are many phenomena in nature that we didn't discover, and later on we did. And who knows, what am I going to discover tomorrow? If I didn't discover the upper force, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. This is also a part of the definition of atheism. I simply didn't want to go deeper into the matter on this show. This is a very serious matter, and this is something that we're not talking about scientifically at all. But it's according to what I feel, how I feel, to what my grandparents told me. A person is inclined towards it, he can believe or not believe. Of course, it also depends on how confident the person feels himself, that all in all we exist within the forces of nature, and we have no idea what's going to happen the next moment, and therefore we have to find some kind of insurance for ourselves, something that can secure our future. On the one hand. On the other hand, we know that a person is all the time in doubt. What's doubtful today can be a certainty tomorrow, and vice versa. That people are very unstable creatures. Not because we're unstable by nature, but because nature is much more diverse, much richer, and we really can't identify all the phenomena around us. And of course, humanity detected these problems a long time ago and has decided that it's easier if we do believe. And if I see a person that believes in something, regardless in what, we see that he's more confident, happier. That person fulfills his life with different actions towards that God of his. He has what to pass on to his parents, his children. They can build different ceremonies around it that can give them a sense of confidence. And it doesn't matter if it's true or not, but it really contributes to the stability of a society. And therefore I see that it's worthwhile doing. And therefore I'm saying that here you have a consensus, social consent, that yeah, this is what we do. And we see that also in ancient times, and also in the times when Yehuda Levi wrote the Kuzari. People looked for some kind of a religion to give to the people in order to govern the people more correctly, to calm them down, give them some kind of a social characteristic and so on. And also in our times we see that countries that were less religious are becoming more religious, and also vice versa. And also all the religious wars, the crusaders, how they brought Christianity to different countries, and those that didn't want to accept it, they accepted it forcefully, and then they became even more pious about it than the original crusaders and so on, like in Poland and other countries. Yeah, it's one of the only countries that is more inclined towards religion than before. Yeah, but they weren't Christian. They became Christians not long ago. And today, how pious they are, Catholics, and so on and so on. We see that there's still an unclear direction about it in humanity, and humanity needs it. Because even in our times, where we're as if so developed, our future is becoming more and more volatile. And therefore, religion is not leaving the stage like we thought 100 years ago. 100 and 150 years ago, we thought that that's it. Religion in a few years. And as I grew up in the former USSR, of course, I got anti-religious education, radical anti-religious education. And everyone thought that this thing is passé. The last grandmas passed away, and, there are no believers left. But no, we see that today, after 50, 60, 70 years, we see that not the grandmothers, but their granddaughters go to church, keep different ceremonies and so on. Meaning this thing doesn't disappear. It comes back in waves, and it's all because we do not know nature. This is actually what it's about. Were we to know nature as a whole, we'd discover the upper force, then we'd have no doubt